I have COVID. So if you've been to this channel before, you know that most of my content is urban legends and some motorcycle stuff. I'm working on my motorcycle now. So this is completely different for me to do a video about COVID. And the only reason I'm doing a video about COVID is because I have COVID. I was diagnosed or got a positive test. My son and I stayed in the camper on Friday. Saturday, he came down with symptoms. So Saturday afternoon, I took him to the urgent care and we had him tested. Doctor said it's 50-50, we don't know. Sunday, we got the call that he was positive. Monday, I went in and got tested, came back negative because I was a day early. And I got the results on Tuesday. By then I was having symptoms, and so I went back in and got a rapid test and it was positive. So I'm not the only one in my family now, everybody has it. Guess what? I'm vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated, and I've been vaccinated for months. I don't know if this is a Delta variant, but every physician I've spoken to said it has every hallmark of being the Delta variant. So this is how it started. I started with my mouth being really dry. My mouth was dry because my nose was stuffed up and I'm breathing through my mouth. And so I just thought it was a sinus thing. And then it started to run profusely. I started to get a runny nose and I was sneezing. And then that night it sort of dried up a little bit, but then was stuffy and I couldn't breathe. And I'm breathing through my mouth again. And then I went to bed at like 10 o'clock and just sat there and shivered the whole night. Woke up totally soaking wet and called all my doctors. I have a couple of them. And they're like, you should do good through this because you're vaccinated, you know, but you're not out of the woods. So, so I immediately quarantined to my camper, and so I wanted to stay away from everybody, and so I made my home in the camper, and I debated about going on social media and talking about it, and I just went, nah, I'm probably not going to do that right now, because what if something does go sideways? So then the next day I woke up in the camper and I was pretty drenched again, but I didn't have a fever really during the day, but I did at night. So I got through the whole day. Back was hurting, shoulders were hurting, nose still stuffed up. And then the next morning I woke up and I wasn't wet. I didn't have soaked clothes. And took my temperature, and the highest it ever went was 99 that day. And so it's been several days. I only have a few more days left in quarantine now, and I have not had a fever in 50 hours. So like it's 2 days plus like a half a day or something like that. So what's required is 10-day quarantine, at least 24 hours with no fever, and symptoms to be gone. And you know, my symptoms are pretty much gone. I have a little bit of congestion, which is almost normal for me, but I think this is probably the remnants of COVID. So I will finish out the quarantine. So Thursday, I'm done with quarantine. So that's what's happening with me, okay? It's why I haven't done a new video this week. This is my video this week. I'm installing this seat, by the way. If you're wondering what the heck I'm doing, I feel good enough to install this seat on this Mother Rhodes Customs seat on my Indian Scout Bobber. I've had this bike for 3 years now. I really love it. It's my baby. I keep doing stuff to it, and I just really like it. It's just so outlaw, you know, I have fun with it. But anyway, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, vaccinated and you still got COVID. Do you feel like an idiot for getting vaccinated? No. The reason I don't feel that way is because I know that this would be way worse, especially if it was a Delta variant. And I'm pretty sure, pretty sure, I'm going to get it DNA sequenced to make sure, but absolutely every doctor that my family and I have come in contact with, and I think we're counting 7 doctors now, have all said it is the hallmarks. Everything that you describe is the Delta variant. So I'm quite confident that that's what it is. And that would completely devastate me if I hadn't had the vaccine. I am a cancer survivor, so almost 5 years ago I had cancer, and I've been cancer free since then. Hopefully, knock on metal, that I still am. I did a little inquiry with the clinic, and they said, no, we're getting dozens of people a day that are vaccinated that are testing positive with the Delta variant. So this is the predominant variant right now, and it just sucks because it's no fun. Trust me, it's no fun. But it could have been a lot worse. I mean, I'm not on a respirator. My doctor told me yesterday we had a nice call for about 20 minutes. I showed him all my numbers. By the way, if you do get this, I have a couple recommendations too. But he said, I'm pretty convinced you're out of the woods. It'd be very weird for me to, just relapse all of a sudden. But, so I'm staying in quarantine. I'm in my garage right now. I go between the garage and the camper. And so this is a better atmosphere to do a video in. I normally don't do videos quite off the cuff like this. I'm not much of a vlogger these days. Most of my videos have a storyline, and they have a storyline typically about urban legends and stuff like that. If you like that kind of content, consider subscribing, because I'm not done doing that content. You can check out my other videos. And I do videos about motorcycles. I have a motorcycle channel. I'm trying to build up that channel. I want to make it just motorcycle content, but I'm finding I'm having a lot of trouble keeping up with both channels, and it's almost easier just to either do a motorcycle video or a legend tripping video and post it. And people really like the legend tripping stuff, but I've got a lot of people that have Indians, or they have dirt bikes or whatever, and they like the content that I make for motorcycles, so I like doing that too. Anyway, let's get back to COVID for a second. So if you do get this, my recommendation is right away, if you start to feel like you've got a runny nose and any hint of a fever, just get tested, okay? Because it's so close to a head cold, like literally it's hard to tell the difference. So I would go in and I would just get tested, just get it done, And then you know what to do. You know that you need to quarantine for 10 days. And you just got to do it, This variant is really, really, really spreadable. I mean, granted, I was in a camper with my son for however many hours, at least minimum 8. And so it's like an incubator in there in terms of, everybody's breathing in it. And it's a small trailer. It's only a 16-foot trailer. So, no wonder. I mean, if I was going to get it, that's how I was going to get it. But it didn't end there. I was taking care of him Saturday and just putting it out of my mind, going, he doesn't have COVID. He's a kid. He doesn't have it. That's what was in my head. I was in denial, kind of. And so I was right in there, kissing his head, making sure he felt okay. And then the next day when I found out, I'm like, oh boy, okay. That could have been the start of it, Saturday. Could have been the start of it Friday. I'm not sure. Most likely Friday, from the way the incubation tends to work, I think. But it could have been. I'm not sure. So there is evidence that zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D are really good at fighting COVID, or at least getting the immune system to work well. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is just what I've done, what I think, and all the research. I had some time, so I spent some time researching this stuff. And this information are from physicians, okay? Not like a chiropractor that dabbles in medicine or something like that. These are like doctors from Loma Linda University or professors and stuff. I only get my information from people that have really, really looked at the studies and really good studies. Or I don't even bother. There's just too much bro science out there that I just don't want to waste my time with it. If you want to waste your time, that's on you, okay? But there is some solid science behind vitamin D. There's solid science behind zinc. There's a few other things that don't have so much solid science, and so I'm not even going to bother talking about those. Hot baths for 20 minutes to 30 minutes seems to up the immune system. They've done studies on this. You know, I'm going to try to find a link to this one doctor that's talking about this stuff. Now, I didn't take hot baths, okay? I took hot showers, which I don't know if that's long enough or enough immersion to really do the job, but I have been staying on the zinc and all that stuff. That's number one. Number two is you got to get your breathing going. There's, you know, so I have a hard time with decongestants because I went through oral cancer, so I don't produce a lot of saliva, so I get very dry if my nose closes up. But if I open it up with an antihistamine, then I can get thrush easily. So it's like this balance beam for me. So I use a lot of salt rinses and stuff like that. So I do that. Just do the best I can with natural stuff. And it seemed to work because by day 3, I was able to sleep and wake up and feel pretty open. Like right now, I know you can probably hear it a little bit. I look like crap. My eyes probably look sunken in and stuff like that. But I actually feel pretty good compared to what I felt like a couple days ago. And it's pretty insane that I feel this good, this fast. I mean, some people like go like a month, okay, or worse, or you know, go to the ER, okay. I know somebody else that is going through this right now that is doing way worse than me, okay. Not vaccinated. This is just my perspective. I think you should get vaccinated. I do. I think it works. It's a vaccine, okay? And we're in an emergency situation here, and you know, we gotta get this done. I mean, I would do the vaccine again. I would do a booster. I like that I have not been horribly sick from this. I mean, you know, 2 days from now, all of a sudden I could go downhill. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so, though. So the other thing you need to get is a pulse oximeter. And it's this little thing you put on your finger. And I'm not sure which one to tell you to get, but the one we got seems to work fine. And it's, you know, I started around 98%, and today I got 100% blood oxygen level. And you know, most of my average has been like 98 to 99, usually 99, especially the last couple days it's been 99. Today was the first day I got 100%, so all that stuff is working with me right now. So that, you know, my doc's like, yeah, that's awesome. You know, that's really good news. But if you go below 95, like if you have a 94%, you could need supplemental oxygen. Now you have to find out what your baseline is. You know, people with certain respiratory issues might be lower to begin with. I know somebody that normally they're 92, so that wouldn't be normal for them. So you have to know that. Again, none of this is medical advice, okay? I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and what I've done so far, and what's worked for me if you get this, okay? Could I be like double protected, okay? Because I got the Pfizer vaccine, both shots a couple of months ago, and now I got this, now I got COVID, and I'm almost through it. A couple more days and I'll be out of quarantine. I've done the whole 10 days. I don't know. Again, I asked the doctors, they said, yeah, probably have more antibodies than the average bear. So, you know, does it protect us against gamma, that new one, that like really nasty MFR? I don't know. I don't have any data from that. I've not been able to get any data. From what I understand, the little bit of data I have looked at says that the vaccine does help against gamma. Only Pfizer and Moderna that I know of. These are just what I've read, and I've read them on reasonable, websites with accurate medical information. And what I'm seeing is the Moderna and Pfizer seem to be the most robust against the variants. Now that means that, there was a study that came out of Israel that said that it's 64% effective approximately against Delta, symptomatic Delta. 90 some percentage, 90, 94, something like that, to keep you out of the hospital, keep serious, dying from it, okay? And that's the bottom line for me. When I heard that, I felt a lot better. When I said 64%, I went, oh my God, and then I read on and realized it was now, Israel's been a hot spot, okay? They're a couple months ahead of us with this stuff. And so that's why I trust a lot of those studies come out of there, because they're good studies from good universities and facilities over there. That's where I'm at. I mean, I have COVID. I'm getting through it. My family has COVID. Jude, by the way, my son, he's like been done for a couple days. Like he comes out of quarantine tomorrow, and he's ready to rock. I mean, he's ready to play basketball. He's ready to do whatever. From what I heard, that when you do come out of quarantine, from 7 days after symptoms, you can work out, but you got to come back slow. I would just be very careful. I would definitely consult somebody if you're very athletic, and I am. I do a lot of stuff. I'm not athletic, but I do a lot of stuff. I jiu-jitsu, and I train with weights, so just be careful. That's all I'm trying to say. Oh, and the final thing is hydrate. Man, just hydrate. I mean, I've gone through, I don't know how many of these, tons of them, right? And I'm thirsty still, So I keep pounding these things, like, and I know, like, in 5 minutes I'm going to be that thirsty again. I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell. That doesn't seem to be a hallmark of Delta, by the way. It seems to be the hallmark of Alpha variant, from what I understand. But again, not medical information. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing follow-up videos about this. This is just sort of my way of saying, hey man, I was so careful, like all through the pandemic. The minute I could get the vaccine, I got the vaccine. I've been wearing masks, I've been socially distancing, and here I am on the 1 yard line, 4th down, and I get tackled, and it's a drag, but it is what it is. And the only silver lining is that maybe I'm even more protected than somebody that didn't have coronavirus but just got the vaccine. I don't know. But I hope so. Take this a little bit as a danger warning that you can get it, okay? And the numbers are going up. Most likely Delta. How many of those are vaccinated? I don't know. Man, just get vaccinated. I'm sorry I look so bad. Subscribe to the channel, like this video if you like it, and come back and watch some of my other videos, because it's good stuff. Take care of each other and keep rock alive.